I try to escape?
You can't. They're gonna tag you with a microlocator implant.
We're gonna know where you are every second for the rest of your life.
Wouldn't it be easier to just give him his cell phone and let the NSA do the rest? I remember my first experience with VR. I was at the Castleton Square Mall picking out a wedding ring for my then girlfriend at the time, Susan Qdoba, and stumbled upon a VR demo of Duke Nukem 3D. The wedding proposal didn't go as well as I would have liked, as Susie Q and I called it quits later that night, but the VR demo exceeded my wildest dreams. Something I can't say about 1995's techno cyber shoot-'em-up Virtuosity.
Parker Barnes is the best cop I've ever worked with. And he's the only one that even got close to Sid 6.7 in virtual reality.
I can't put a convicted murderer on the street.
Well, if you want to catch Sid, I'm afraid you don't have a choice.
In Virtuosity, Denzel Washington plays a former police lieutenant, Parker Barnes, who's imprisoned after accidentally killing innocent bystanders in a firefight with Matthew Grimes, a political terrorist responsible for the murder of Parker's wife and daughter. Now a convicted felon, Barnes is used as a government guinea pig in a beta program that trains future cops using virtual reality. When a fellow convict is murdered by Sid 6.7, a virtual amalgam of the most violent killers throughout history, the police commissioner orders a programmer in charge to shut down the project.
Virtual reality was supposed to be a safe place to train my law enforcement people.
That's why we're using convicts to ferret out any glitches in the system.
I want it shut down immediately.
But through virtual charm, Sid is able to manipulate his way into the real world, runs amok, and it's left to Denzel and his metal arm to bring him to justice. Talk about virtual insanity. Virtuosity's released in 1995, cost $30 million to make, earned 24 of it back, but was quickly forgotten about. And for good reason, as this movie's virtually retarded. The film doesn't deserve our respect, as I'm pretty sure the producers responsible for this cyber attack thought audiences would be too dumb to notice that the movie's story, characters, and direction are all operating at minimum capacity, probably on dial-up. Virtuosity was part of a wave of 90s cyberpunk cinema that attempted to cash in on the advent of the internet. The genre reached peak saturation in '95, a year that also saw the release of Johnny Mnemonic, Judge Dredd, The Net, Hackers, and Strange Days. It was a year that marked the beginning of the end for cyberpunk, and I'd hold Virtuosity director Brett Leonard, who also helmed 1992's Lawnmower Man, largely responsible for the genre's demise. Cash me outside, Brett. How about that? The film's story sacrifices logic for convenience whenever it wants and leaves an active audience constantly wondering just what in the heck is going on. The film wants us to believe that Denzel's Parker is the only man capable of stopping Russell Crowe's Sid, but since his beta program has only been tested on convicts, surely there are actual police officers capable of getting the job done themselves.
Police! 1, 2, 3!
Well, I guess if they're all as incompetent as that, maybe Denzel is the only man for the job. But it's not as if he employs any particular strategy to defeat Sid. All he does is shoot him a bunch of times before punching him through the face. Oh, I get it now. Because Denzel is the only man with a middle arm, he's the only one capable of punching Sid through the face. Very clever, Mr. Director. Virtuosity's supporting cast of characters are especially terrible, each in their own way. Denzel's female sidekick, Madison Carter, who looks more like a J.C. Penney cover girl than a criminal psychologist, adds nothing to the story or the investigation.
What?
I also found it amusing that William Fichtner and William Forsythe, two popular character actors from the era, both play men named William, which just further underlines the lack of imagination on display from the film's auteur. Russel Crowe gives the performance of his virtual lifetime as Sid 6.7, the film's primary antagonist, and it's pretty incredible to watch. For those of us who are used to the thespian being one of the more brilliant actors of his generation, it's pretty surreal to see him stink up the screen for 100 minutes. The Aussie literally chews up the scenery, and his performance feels like an audition for a Joel Schumacher Batman fiasco.
God, this guy is fun.
There are some critics of the day that praise Denzel's performance in the film, saying the actor fully commits to the part. But in my opinion, it's hard to look good when you're committing to such garbage. The more seriously Denzel takes the movie, the more idiotic the main character becomes. When asked how he was able to find Sid so quickly in the simulation, how are you supposed to take his answer seriously?
How did you know Sid 6.7 would be in the Japanese restaurant?
Colon, parenthesis, smiley faces. People used to sign off their email with that.
When Parker's trying to explain why exactly he believes that the dominant personality in Sid is not Adolf Hitler or Charles Manson, but a political terrorist that nobody's ever heard of, his reasoning doesn't add up.
Last night, Sid tried taunting me, just like Grimes used to do. Look, take a look at this.
Because I'm sure this Matthew Grimes clown is the only mass murderer prone to taunting.
GTFO!
During the film's finale, when the woman character's daughter is held hostage in an explosive booby trap set up by Sid 6.7, Parker Barnes takes it upon himself to rescue the girl.
It's booby trapped.
So the bomb squad is 5 minutes away.
Yeah, but we don't have 5 minutes.
But as it turns out, there is time to wait for the bomb squad, as the device's internal clock doesn't actually start its 5-minute countdown until after Parker's already inside. For everything that's wrong with the picture, and believe me, there's a lot, the movie did manage to make me feel nostalgic for the aesthetic of the time. Cyberpunk is bound to make a big comeback this year with the release of Ghost in the Shell and Blade Runner 2049, and I look forward to seeing whether or not any ensuing films look towards their 90s predecessors for inspiration. There are some interesting ideas at the core of Virtuosity, and if Brett Leonard wasn't such a hack, maybe the movie would have been more successful. I'll be able to delete the film from my hard drive, but I'll never be able to wipe it from my memory. I'm giving Virtuosity a D and advising anyone interested in booting up the program to pull the plug before pressing play. Until next time, I'm Clifford Yeddes, and this one's in the can.
Just because I'm carrying around the joy of killing your family inside me doesn't mean we can't be friends. Game over. That's reality for you.